Oh yeah! Welcome everybody to episode 31 of the Plumes of Hazard. I am MassBlast09, and to my left or to my right, wherever he's at, we have my sleeveless brother, the Angstful Vapor.
What's up? And over there is Fubaka, the Bearded Wonder.
What up? Final game represent. Thank you to Mast, a.k.a. Broke-Ass Ray Lewis, for doing the intro. I am Fubaka, and to wherever the fuck you see. Hi, horse.
I am all the way up here.
Up there.
Study 77.
It is understudy 77.
How's it going, guys? And welcome to the Plumes of Hazard. We have a very special evening tonight. I know I'm very much looking forward to it. Modders are always fun.
You say we have a very. It makes me think about like the old Saturday morning specials or whatever.
Hey, when you announce him, he's got an intro song. Just letting you know. So let me know.
All right, cool.
Nice.
So I want to take a second and talk about the giveaway first.
Yeah.
Do that the first thing that we do. So the giveaway tonight is for a custom Plumes of Hazard Voop Lyfe Edition Ranger mods that Mike was nice enough to make for us, and we saw this a little bit prior to the show, and it's fucking beautiful, absolutely
amazing.
So to win this, you need to use paint or a paint alternative for Mac, something like Pixlr.com, and you need to define the essence that is Voop Lyfe.
You know, people out there are going, God damn it, the only thing I can do is draw, and you guys are always doing these fucking giveaways by drawing.
They're so good to share, though.
They are.
I can't believe this is the week I forgot to wear my Voop Life shirt. I put on a Plume shirt.
True. Wait, let me see your shirt. Yours looks like a little different.
No, this is the shitty Cafe Press one that we first did.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about last week, it's like a plate, solid plate of plastic.
Yeah. No thanks.
Sweaty nipples.
But
Put that in the clip show, biatch.
Your nipples don't sweat anyway?
Not when they if they have a plastic plate on top of them, I bet.
Yeah, they got the heat of me behind it.
So, without further delay, Fubaka, what do you got for news this week?
I got my terrific bottle, I think, Wednesday. It is fucking spectacular. Sean had the courtesy. He was going to tell me what surprise that it was that Richard from the Knoll put in, or whatever it was he did. And I told him not to tell me. Well, I'd be gladly surprised. Well, I got my mail in bed, and it was fucking amazing because of that. That is Richard. Now, for those who don't know, I had put on my order, "Thank you, Rich. I love you." And so I had to do my autofocus trick. He wrote, where is it? Focusing.
Other way. Oh, there you go.
You got it. There you go.
Yep. Deal with it.
That's pretty
awesome.
And then on the other side, that's terrific.
But that is
But look at that face.
arguably the best looking man in vaping.
That looks like some dumb shit on Christmas stationery. In any case, I only vaped a few rounds out of the dripper on this because this does need a week or two to steep. It should get a little darker than this, kind of become more of an orange brown. But $28 shipped from the.
What up?
For 100 mil,
This
too.
is the guy right here.
That's a 100 ml bottle I got for
Hey,
20
what up?
bucks.
What up?
What up?
What up?
Just a word to the wise: your room is going to smell like maple syrup if you fog it out.
But
That's awesome.
people also need to remember that is their classified flavor.
Yeah.
So if you want it, you have to know the name is Terrific. We'll say it again. Go to Vapors Knoll and order their classified monthly flavor. It's terrific.
Terrific.
Made
With real churro in it.
You hear me say this? I just put it in chat already because I keep forgetting we have a delay sometimes, but I put it in chat and I'll put it in another 30 seconds for all you goldfish in there.
There we go. What else you got?
I got some more key lime cookie from Right Vapes. The shop I work at got more in stock. It's $25 for a 30 mil, and we've had many discussions about juice that's way expensive, and I didn't mind buying because I like the flavor so much, and it's one of those once-in-a-while bottles. But goddamn, I wish it was cheaper so I can buy more of it. You know, I like to buy, like, I got this by the 100 mil, I got the Perdition from Axiom by the 100 mil. Like, these are, like, all-day vapes for me. Not the Terrific by any means, but the Perdition, like, I just take this friggin' thing with this, like a Josh Wilson bottle. Just slather that shit on your cotton.
More juice.
And I'm good to go.
Give you that crackalackle factor?
Just look at it this way: $100 for 120 mils if I were to buy 4 bottles.
That's pretty
It's a
crazy.
bad bitch right here.
That's about two. That's about 2 times the number of monies that should be.
Yeah, and I got this 100 mil of Perdition for $40 from Axiom, which is a great price. Their high VG line, I suggest everybody try it. It is, at least especially Perdition. It's so fucking good. It's cinnamon berry tobacco. Mwah.
I like their Cloud Rat series, like the strawberry and the blueberry Cloud Rats.
I've been told I should try banana Cloud Rat. I haven't tried it yet, and I forgot to order a small bottle with my order. But the next bottle of Perdition, I'll probably give it a go.
Cool.
Oh, and I built with 24 gauge finally.
Whee!
Woohoo!
I like it.
Working out.
I really like 24 gauge. 7 wraps, 0.26. Mm-hmm.
Where it's at. So you say.
Sean must be watching porn because he's awfully fucking quiet.
I am.
has to be-
Actually, I'm grabbing contest entries and queuing them so that we can share them quickly.
Ahmed, I don't want to cut you off, but that's the last thing I see on your notes. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Word. All right. I have 2 things.
You want me to screen share your first picture, Brian?
I have 2 things. I was going to do it myself. I got it. So I've got 2 things that's going to make Mast really happy. And the first one.
Was one barbecue?
No, not. The first is about the Rose clone.
Oh, fucking A.
I know. So this showed up on my Facebook feed the other day. This supposedly is the guys that are going to be making the Rose clone, and they're basically saying they're not going to do it anymore. And the guy talking says, "Well, how come? It's too complex."
Wait, they're saying that about something a white dude designed?
Absolutely. I mean, as Sean and I laughed about a few weeks ago when this came around, you know, we're like, okay, well, we'll wait and see it. If they're going to be able to pull off, you know, all the little intricate moves and whatever inside. And apparently, if that's true, apparently not, which is kind of funny. And on that note, here's the second thing that's going to make them upset. I got my Stumpy kit in, and it's freaking awesome.
What did I say about not mentioning anything about your Rose this show?
You did, and I was waiting for a mute. Actually, it didn't come.
Nope. We'll get you later.
Okay, all right.
It will not be here till tomorrow.
So, yeah, that does suck.
That's what's going to happen every time he talks about the Rose.
Well, this is the last thing I'm going to say, but I have to say it because this is freaking sweet. So, the Stumpy kit is this basically takes the...
He's still talking about this shit?
Of course, I have to do a load of mini predator reviews. Come on. Thank you.
I don't want to hear about it.
Good drop. But you just turned your brain off for a second. All right, so original tank and what the Stumpy is. It is a huge difference. So one of the very few things that I had an issue with it, and it's not really an issue. One of the niggles that I had with the tank is it's really big. This makes it much more manageable. And by the way, Masty, this looks really good on the Mass Mods Micro.
True.
Really good. The only I was joking about it earlier with somebody in chat. Oh, it was Daz. I was joking about it with Daz because of course he wants it. I said the only problem with it is it makes the pimp lean a little more pronounced because it definitely kicks off the side a little bit.
Lean with it.
Pimp lean.
Yeah, dude, that's the pimp lean, the ham and fox
You
pimp
the high noon lean when you're.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have to call it a
Ham and
pimp
fox
lean.
lean. Look at that.
All we do is light it up all night. All you see is strange clouds.
Every time.
Enough with the rose.
Well, hold on. You gotta
Oh,
tell these
God.
guys the juice amount.
That's true. That's true. I did not mention that. So if you're not familiar with it, real quick, the nice thing about this thing is even though it shrinks it down that much more, you lose exactly 0.02 milliliters of capacity. So you get to move this thing down like a whole freaking centimeter or a half inch. I mean, just massive amount, and you only lose just a little bit of capacity. I mean, a 0.2 milliliters was that like 5 drops, something like that.
Yeah,
Something
not
ridiculous.
much.
But where they did it is they just milled out the top cap, right? Most of that is coming from the top cap that they've milled out, which makes it. Chuff said 6 drops. I was damn close then. Well, the nice thing about it, not only do you keep the capacity, almost all of it, it's also a lot lighter. So this top cap was beefy before, and now it's milled out. All right, Master, we're done. We're done with that. No more roses. You can.
All right, sit the fuck down, Seal.
That's right. So the next thing that I was really quite excited about is P. Bissardo, or our buddy Phil Bissardo, posted this out. Boop. I'm pasting the link right now on his site for Taste Your Juice. So he posted about the Provari has finally released the V3. It's got some things I think really, really nice. They've updated the menu. A lot of people don't like the Provari simply because of the single button interface. It's a lot of clicking. And I loved my Provari when I first got it. But I haven't used it in a really long time because it's got a 2.5 amp limit. And it's not enough to do with what I want to do with. It doesn't really power a K-Fun very well. Certainly doesn't power a Dripper very well.
It has a 3.5 amp limit, and I want to vape at 3.8 amps.
Exactly. But I think the new one looks really nice. They've updated the menu. It seems like it scrolls really well. It's now got a 5 amp limit, very similar voltage range, but now it's variable wattage as well. You can move it over to variable wattage mode or variable voltage. When you get it, it has all three. It supports all 3 sizes, so 350, 490, or 500s, and 650s. It all comes in the one kit. That's really cool. However, there's a couple things that are bothersome about it to me. It's 23 millimeter. 23.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all of my everything are 22 millimeter because that's what everything is.
We chew you now.
I think it's time to buy another Typhon.
Right, exactly. You could do the Typhon. It was the Squape 1, I think.
Is it that big a deal that it's 23 millimeters? I mean,
It is to me. I like the line. I don't like the weird little. So those two things to me or that thing to me is a little wonky. The other thing that I don't like is at least in variable wattage. What Phil said was 20 watts, and to me that's barely. I mean, that's just not enough. It's enough to run a K-Fun, yes, absolutely, but. To me, I'm not going to drop that kind of money on another device that only goes up to 20 watts.
You know, the other thing that kind of bothers me about it is by this point you would think that they would at least seal their chip housing so that, it doesn't look like crap.
is that a straight contact to the chip?
And that's how the original
Provari is too.
That has always bugged me for the price.
Actually, I haven't seen the inside of Provari.
Yeah, that's the down tube, and it's the same thing as the Provari V1, but that's always bothered me because they really should just fucking put something in there to clean it up.
That particular thing doesn't bother me.
The funny thing is that that's still one of the beefiest mods I've handled.
Well,
absolutely.
You know though that go back to that picture of the internals. I think that another reason they should seal that up is shit from your battery, lint, whatever, getting up in there after. Mm-hmm. Not that it's going to hurt it, but there is a possibility of getting between the button and that tack switch, and just unnecessary stuff getting in there. But with that said, I think heating issues by leaving it open like that allows it to breathe a little bit.
Yep.
And it looks like they're using the same way like the Vamo puts the stuff in there. It has the chip sandwich between the two pieces, so it doesn't move.
Yeah, and I will say that the V1 didn't have that sandwich in there, so that's an improvement.
Yeah. That'd keep us from spinning.
So the thing that I don't get, and we don't know this yet, but we know it goes from 3-point-something volts up to 6 volts still, and it's got 5 amps. So to me, by the calculator anyway, if you build a 1.2 ohm build, you should be able to hit 30 watts. But we don't know if they're going to be limited, by the chip to just not let you go that high. Yeah, we just don't know. I would hope so. If it does, I probably will be picking one up because if you've talked with me before, that was the first nice mod that I bought when I quit smoking. That was my 1 month having no cigarettes, which hasn't happened in a decade plus of full time lots of smoking. That was the first thing. So I've got a soft spot because the damn thing works great. Made in America, built like a tank. Warranty. The power delivery is so consistent and so good. I really like my Provari, but I haven't used it in months because I can't.
I also have to say all credit to those images goes to Phil Basardo and TasteYourJuice.com, not us.
I posted the link in the chat, and we can put it in the video.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say that I was sharing from there.
Sure.
Yeah. What up?
What up, Josh?
What up? So that's what I got on the Provari 3. So basically, I'm really excited about it. The other thing I just put in our notes just to talk about, and if somebody has tried it, you can tell me. But I keep hearing stuff about the Aspire Mini, the bottom vertical coil Clearos. Keep hearing lots and lots of things. I mean, to me, if you look at the damn thing, it's basically a cartomizer, right, with less filling in it. But everybody's really freaking out about them. I think it's cool. It doesn't help it. It's still ugly as balls. I mean, the thing's ugly as hell. But if it works well, okay. Have you tried them, Foo, at your shop?
Which ones?
The Aspire Mini, the Nautilus Mini.
We're still waiting on them to come in, actually.
Well, I would think that you'd be kind of excited about it. You were a Cardo dude.
I was. After vaping on the Nautilus, and then we had the Nautilus in for a while before the new Aero tanks came in. I think the Mega is the best Clearo I've used so far. I can't see the Nautilus Mini being better than the Aero Mega.
Yeah.
At least in terms of pull quality and draw and everything.
Well, and that's what they're saying though, is it's better since it's vertical coil. The air flows through there really well. Get lots of contact with your wadding at the bottom. I don't know. Buy My Sandwiches says, I have a stump for you. I don't want your stump, Buy My Sandwiches. That's nasty.
Maybe he meant to say Stumpy.
Yeah. I was just scrolling back to see what I missed for a minute there. That's what I got with that. I just wanted to throw it out there. It's kind of cool. It's kind of ugly, but apparently it works well. Something else I kind of want to give a shout out because of a couple of things. So a guy, and this is one of the reasons I want to say it because it's funny. On ECR, this guy's username is Butt Manager, P-U-T-T Butt Manager. He had a wicking tutorial for the Typhoon GT, and while that doesn't sound very interesting, his descriptions are pretty freaking hilarious. So even if you don't have a Typhoon, you should go look at it because it made me laugh out loud. It was quite good. Plus, he's got a funny username. Butt Manager. Oh, you know what? We're going to skip that note and talk about that with our guest. So the last thing that I've got that I wanted to link so people have. So G-Plat wire, right? That whole brouhaha that went down a little while back about them not wanting to reveal what kind of wire it was, but all the cloud chasers are loving it because it's
it's super awesome, super dude.
Super dude, super cool, fat clouds, brother, yo. But they're really sketchy about when they were asked what it is. They're like, oh, it's proprietary and blah. But somebody actually did some testing, some scientific testing on G-Plat, and they very carefully, because of legal reasons, worded their findings in that thread. But it's telling. The short version, the TLDR, if you will, is it's straight up medical grade 316 stainless. Apparently, at least that's what it appears to be in their X-rays and their testings that they did. I think that's interesting. That does explain a little bit why it's expensive, but probably not as much as they're charging because what is it, like $1 a foot, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean it's meh. give me some Canthal, I'm fine. But if you're a cloud chaser and you want to know what's in it, apparently it's 316 stainless, medical grade.
Medical grade.
Medical grade.
As long as it says medical grade, we know it's great.
Surely, if medical grade stainless, it's just because it says medical, surely it's okay to heat it up to a couple hundred degrees and vape.
No, I mean, this is good to cut someone open with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or is surgical grade separate?
You know, that's what they tied Grandpa's hip back together with. Let's vape it!
Right. Let's run some power through it so it gets hot.
That is stainless steel mesh mast.
I don't give a shit.
And that's
put anything in their mouths, won't they?
That draws to the end of my vaping news for this week. Sean, you are up.
Awesome. I'm going to try to keep mine relatively brief.
Where's the trumpets?
I'm tired as shit. I just got back from a 4-day trip to Las Vegas. I was there for work and computer stuff, but I did get a chance to hang out with the one and only Chuff, guy behind Chuff Enough. He took me out to a couple places, including a few stores, one being True Vape in Las Vegas. I wanted to give them a shout-out because they were really cool guys. I guess part of this going in was Chuff wanted to kind of do an experiment to see how I felt about juice in Las Vegas. And juice in Las Vegas and what's popular out there is very, very different from what's popular on the East Coast. To put it simply, they're about as subtle as a fucking brick in their flavorings. So it's not most of the juice that I tried, and I gotta give props to the guy who was working with me because I must have tried 30 juices while I was there, and I turned my nose to just about everyone.
What a dick.
I did end up leaving with 4 juices, 3 from a company called Flavies, or 2 from a company called Flavies, which is pretty good, and then another one from a company called Alpha, called Sweet Tooth. And those 3 were pretty good. They were a little bit on the lighter side, but that wasn't the standard. The standard was that they were all kind of perfumey, they were all strong, and they were all fairly simple. I will say that pretty much everybody out there has a Chuff Enough cap.
They do? Do they have a not a Chuff Enough?
They do not have a not a Chuff Enough nose hair.
We nose
Drip
ripping?
tip? Yeah.
No rip.
We nose ripping? No, Angsty, you have to do it with a dripper, dude.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work with a freaking tank.
5 volts. 5 volts.
The guy that I
Back to
worked
the
with
brain.
was Adam. He was very patient with me, which was nice. Commented significantly on how picky I was, and I told him I knew.
God bless. That would hurt, dude.
There's a shop.
Make sure your nostrils clean before you do that.
Yeah, dude, you got a little
I don't
bug.
think it is, man.
There's a shop here in Maryland
That is
that
clean
is
now.
doing a Plumes of Hazard viewing party every week, and I think that's really cool. And they took some pictures and sent them over for this week's prior, and I wanted to share some of those screenshots with them. The shop's name is Two
Absolutely.
Vapes if you're from Maryland, but here's a couple of pictures that I got from these guys to the party.
Two,
I
like
think they
number
have
2,
7 or
right?
8 guys down there. The company's they're staying open late, and they're doing like a 25% off sale just for people
True.
watching.
Go.
That's cool.
It actually cleared up my nostril, though.
Yeah, it's a nice little crowd out there to watch, right? They got
Everybody watching, nose rip. You know what? Cloud competitions should have a nose rip section.
There's a lot of not late there.
They should have a nose rip section to
They
see
should have
how
it.
good you are.
That would bring out the men. That's for damn sure. Every
This-
time I do it, I kind of water up in my eyes a little bit.
This, I watch. I bet you're going to start seeing it. All I want is hashtag not a chuff for the nose rip.
But you know,
Hashtag
guys,
Wolf Life on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Hashtag Voop Life.
there we go. I wanted to give them a thank you for for doing that. That's really cool. I also have another thank you that this came from a conversation with Mass that then went to the Plumes of Hazard email address. But there's a guy by the name of Brian who has just recently caught up on all of our videos. He sent this lovely email to us. He has split out all the Tech Time videos.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to have individualized Tech Time videos from him, but I wanted to share a little bit of his email because I thought it was really fucking cool. And I don't know, it made me feel all like fuzzy and shit inside. But, hey guys, I wanted to start off by saying how much time and money you have saved me with your show. You've been able to successfully show your viewers knowledge beyond juice and hardware that other vapors on YouTube, in my opinion, haven't been able to do successfully or nearly as in-depth. Because of your juice segments, you've broadened my range on flavors, you've introduced me to new devices and people that are worth my time and money. He said he got a schedule change, and he's working these late shifts now, so he wanted to kind of do us a favor and split up all the Tech Time videos and cut out all the Tech Time videos. So thank you for that. We will be sending you juice. He sent along his information for that, and I think we're all going to send him some juice for that. And I wanted to give a public thank you for that.
Yeah, man, that's super cool.
And my last one is something that I've just kind of heard about recently from a company called Hysteric Vape. They do K-Fun parts out of Malaysia. And they do really, and Typhon parts and stuff, and they're really interesting. I can't screen share at the moment because I'm not logged into Facebook on this. But they work through Facebook. They do colored pieces. They do a bunch of cool stuff, and I swear I'm going to try to remember to make sure that this link is in the video description. Mast, all you.
You're muted, dude.
Check side chat. I got another contest entry for you over there.
I got it. I'm adding it.
Mast, you're muted.
Mast, you're muted, buddy.
Okay. So I had to get that out of the way. All right. So last week we talked about basically assholes doing chargebacks, and we're gonna revisit this for just about 1 or 2 minutes because it now, I think personally, has hit close to us home, especially with Sean and Angsty owning an AMODs. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, Alonzo has been having some issues with the processor, which would be PayPal in his case, basically holding what? How much was it, Angsty? Like
it was like 20% for 90 days or something like that. And he's got to keep like $5,000 in there or something ridiculous.
Yeah, PayPal's being super unreasonable about it, and they say that he's selling a high-risk item. Well, you follow the thread, and people are just, PayPal sucks, this shit, that shit. But let's not forget the real reason why PayPal's doing this, or one of the reasons, I should say, it's chargebacks. And here's why. When you go and let's say you order through PayPal and you don't use your account or you use a credit card or something like that, when they start seeing an item that costs a considerable amount of money, they will see that there's possibly people doing chargebacks. I'm not saying that in his case that happened, but it's happened in the past, and we talked about this because some vendors that we know, and it's actually kind of funny because a vendor that I personally know, it happened to after the show, we've been dealing with some issues like that. They're going to have to cover their ass. So I honestly believe that that's part of why PayPal has been such an asshole to them, to AMODs, holding some of that money back, because if there's a chargeback, hey, well, there's your 20%, or there's your bucket of $3,000 that you have to keep up from month to month that they can pull from if your devices cost $200 or $200 or above or something like that. So let's not lay all the blame on PayPal themselves. Yes, he should probably go through a different payment processor and not use PayPal because of their terms of service and all their BS that you have to go through, but I think it's kind of interesting that this is happening now, and we just talked about that, last week. And I believe, there's ways to getting around it by doing the signature confirmation and all that, but I still think, that's going to be an ongoing issue with retailers, and who knows, it might end up costing us more to buy stuff, because people are having to go jump through hoops to be able to sell it. So let's see, what else do I have on here? The Orchid is finally on sale. Thank you, Angsty. I'll put the link inside chat. You can buy it directly from there. Mine's shipped and it's on the way, so we'll probably have a review about it.
Hey, Massey, that's a YouTube link.
Is it? Whoops. I don't know what that goes to, but have fun with that. Let's see. Can you drop it in chat? I can't do that right this second.
Well, I think Ahmed is here for a very special announcement.
Voop life!
Oh my god. Is he serious?
Hey. Blow clouds every day.
Oh man.
Donkulus
All right. So the next thing that I had in my notes. See, this is why we can't have nice things. I don't know where the hell I'm going. But anyways, I'd say about 3 days ago, on the 8th, Yihi released a statement on their site, and I'll have it up on my screen right now, basically detailing a safety warning. And their safety warning was followed by basically saying, hey, we're going to release a new upgrade file, and the upgrade file is going to be a 60-watt upgrade. And that upgrade file you can only retrieve from us. And the only way you can do that is by sending us an email. Here's some more information about it. And in bold letters, it says, this is not a necessary upgrade. So, okay, what is it, Yihi? Is it a good update, bad update? What's going on? So they're real worried about their heating issues with the board, and there's also issues with the size of the wires. So they are asking everyone to basically, or should I say, we'll go back to this first one. They're telling everyone, let's see if we can zoom in on here. They're telling everyone that you are required to have 16 gauge on the battery and the output, which is a big deal because, you know, the boards right now come with, I believe it's 18 gauge, and dropping down to 16 gauge, you know, desoldering that, soldering back up, is it really necessary? Okay, that's what the manufacturer calls for, so we'll say yes. But, you know, so all the boards that are out there now are going to be needed to be upgraded. If you want to go to that higher wattage, do you have to? Probably not. You could probably get away with it, but, you know, this is what they're calling for. Second, all the new boards that are coming from them will have the 16 gauge wire already attached to it. And I suggest to everyone to give it another week. Like I said, the update just came out. Give it another week because there are some bugs still in the software. This release was a mess. They did not do it through their normal means, which is their vendors and people here in the U.S. who are authorized to sell the board. And basically, they just said, "Oh, we'll send us an email." Well, when they woke up the next day, you could imagine what happened. They had thousands of emails of people asking for the upgrade, and I think some things were released that weren't ready yet. But in this feature, it's really nice to have the display rotate, so that way if you need to mount your board upside down, or you want to flip your mod completely upside down, the board will work and the accelerometer will work. I had some questions. Some people asked, well, why is it only able to flip and not just go on its side? Well, the screen has its resolution. It's not perfectly square. So if you go on the side, a lot of the stuff is not going to fit. So that's one of the reasons. And I'm sure that they can only do so much with the accelerometer inside, which way you have it, tilted and all that other stuff. So that's pretty cool. If you want to get that, the 60 watt upgrade works good. Wire-wise, be my guest and upgrade it to 16 gauge, because that's what they're calling for. I did receive a question today about the size of the wire going into the hole that Yihi has on the board. I think that if you desolder the wire that's there and you go solder the new one, the hole is not going to be the same size as what they started with, so the 16 gauge might not fit in there. You can also, you can lay a layer of solder on and then put the wire on. And next week, we'll be upgrading an old Yihi board to the 16 gauge wire, so you guys will be able to do that. So
nice.
Yep. And I believe that's about it. The last thing that I wanted to share was I just wanted to give a shout out to Twisted Full 20 for making it onto Gizmodo. They had an article about him, about watch music turn vapor into a living dancing beast, and it was pretty cool actually seeing reviewers and seeing vaping in the community just expanding from our own little culture. So something positive, something cool to see.
No shit. What about that 28mm piece?
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. This is a new. Let me bring my my camera back up here. This is a new release from. It's not out yet. We're still in testing, and there's some things that I'll show you and some things that I won't show you. Still in testing. This is a 28 millimeter 510 from Veritube. Okay, so 26650 style mods that we're looking for a nice thin 510 adapter right there. We'll go ahead and put a so you can see the size difference. We'll put a regular size tobe on there, so you can see it is a true 28. There's the extra space around it. Same thickness, nice and thin, and some of the internals might be changing. We'll see. Playing around with some things, but other than that, really nice. So there you have it. 28 millimeter.
28 millimeter guys, you now have an option.
Yep, there's been a lot of requests for that. If you want something beefier, so when you might have, you give the people options to, if they're, tendency to more. I'll grab my my 28 tobe here, and we'll put it on there. But there were a lot of requests actually for it, and mainly it's people saying, well, if I have one on there, I can put it on, and if it's something smaller, then it'll be fine. It's better than an overhang, which is true. So here's the 26650 tobe we'll put on there, and it is dead nuts on there, man. You can barely even see it.
That ass.
So, yep. So there you have it.
So
they'll be available from Veritube. Whenever we get a date, we'll put it up and let you guys know.
Hey, Mass, was that a Manny's meat tip on that tobe?
It was a Manny's meat. It's actually got the Manny's lean on it. Lean with it. Okay? These are one of a kind. They only lean in the special direction, depending on how the moon's gravity was that night. So, Manny's meat
it's the scoliosis tip.
I also, before we bring in our guest, I want to take a moment here and just mention some non-vaping related news that Robin Williams was found dead, and that's a very sad thing.
It is.
But I wanted to bring it up because, while not relevant, it still sucks.
Yeah.
The majority of us grew up in the 90s.
Exactly.
And we've all watched Mrs. Doubtfire 100 million times, and that is one of my favorite movies of his.
I still say that bit that he's got about the origins of golf might be one of my favorite things he has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, just freaking hilarious. That and the and what was the other one? Mrs. Doubtfire was funny, but Birdcage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, yes, that tops them all.
And that was amazing.
That was a great fuck. How did I not think of that one? That's my favorite.
Was it he and Nathan Lane, right?
Yep.
Oh my god, those guys just slayed it. Hilarious.
So
it's too bad.
Hank Azaria, dude.
So
Yeah.
while Mass cues up our theme music here
I got it whenever you're ready.
I'll remind you guys one more time of the giveaway. Using MS Paint or Pixlr or an alternative for Mac, you are to incorporate everything that is Voop Life in a picture to us, and you will get a custom Voop Life Ranger mod. So
Robin Williams porned out.
get us some entries, people, because in a little bit we're going to be going over. So throw something together if you need to. Without further ado, can we get the theme music?
No, you need to announce him, and then when he comes in, I play the theme music.
All right, fine.
Flock of seagulls just joined chat.
So without further ado, we have Raph or Mike or Michael from Ranger Mods, who makes a really
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Get it. Ranger in the house. Okay, that's enough of that.
Nice.
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
And he's got no audio.
Oh,
Womp
man.
womp.
Oh no. Hit reload.
Refresh quick, man.
No, reload.
These technical difficulties brought to you by the most professional show in vaping.
Hey.
That's for you know who it is. We're gonna get so lit up today for all this shit.
There's no way we are going to be sending somebody a laptop for every guest that we have on here. So
Real.
let's see what else we got. Others. Oh, there's something we can mention. The FDA comment period.
Well, he's back. No, sorry, no Photoshop. Try talking now, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Hey!
I hit unmute just like you told me, and it did nothing.
No, you weren't muted anymore. It was just a.
Did you hear your intro song?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it was just too much awesomeness.
That could be it.
It something crashed somewhere, probably in China.
I have.
Mass has a habit of breaking Google.
He does.
So I'm just finishing up that album. Apparently the photos, it's like 10 gigabytes. It took a while to upload.
Nice.
Wow.
So we'll be sharing pictures of the mod here in a little bit. On that note, though, while you're doing that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What got you into this?
So
Give us your vaping journey.
I started vaping maybe about a year and a half ago. I actually started, the first time I vaped was 3 years ago with Blue. And it was a waste of money, and it lasted all of 3 days. And then my brother-in-law actually came over one day with an Ego, and I was laughing at him because it looked ridiculous. And then eventually, about a day or two later, I tried it, and then realized that there was juice out there that didn't taste like complete ass. And so I went and got my own, and about 4 or 5 months later, I upgraded to a mech, and then a buddy of mine asked me to build him a box mod or something. He wanted me to build him something cool, because I've always been kind of a tinker of sorts, very mechanically inclined. So I started, he gave me a link to, I think it was Goss's how to build a Duke. And so I watched it, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And ordered up all the parts to do it together, and fell in love. And it just kind of escalated from there into what it is now.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit there and just say that it's really funny, man, because when I started vaping, I think we can all agree that fucking egos and mods and everything, until you get involved in the culture, they look fucking stupid. And when I started, I remember people were like, yeah, are you a vapor too? I'd be like, no, I use e-cigs. I'm not going to use
I mean, my first setup I thought looked cool as fuck. It was an Ego with a CE4. I was like, this looks so much cooler than just a Cigalite.
Yeah, I didn't even want to use the word vaping when I first started.
Fuck you, understudy.
Somebody in chat asked specifically too, vaping all day, every day, wants to know the story behind the Ranger name.
The Ranger name.
So let's talk, and related to that, let's talk about that flag, because you're the non-jarheadiest jarhead I've ever seen.
It's been a while. So I enlisted right out of high school. So 17 and a half, joined the Marine Corps. My time in was cut short due to a non-repairable medical condition involving my lower intestines. Anyways.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Wait, that's perfect for Voop life today.
Luckily, my all my bodily functions are fine. Okay, so we're good to go there. But in hindsight, I kind of hit the lottery with that because I was a rifleman, 0311, Golf 27, and I would have been sent right there. Right when the shit hit the fan. I'd have been 2.5 years in, right in the middle of my term. So really kind of hit the lottery with that. As devastating as it was, because I didn't know what to do. So I ended up becoming an electrician. I've always been into, anything involving electricity. I grew up thinking Tesla was a mad genius type of guy, So I was always fascinated by electricity. So ended up getting into that, and I did that, and I'm still I'm an electrical contractor, so I own a business. I have a couple electricians that run around doing electrical service for some retail corporations I have contracts with. So Anyways, so I digress. So Ranger. So initially, my box was going to be called the Rifleman. I wanted to stick with a military type theme, and so it was going to be Rifleman. And I even have a picture floating around somewhere that has my very first 1590G box engraved Rifleman, and that was my first ever proto for when I decided that I wanted to actually like build them. And so I was sitting there at my engravers, and so I basically had I had 3 mods planned. A small one, which was going to be a dual 18350 with a 6 amp, one of the little OKR T6s. That was going to be the recruit. The what is now the Ranger was going to be the Rifleman, and then a dual 26650 mod, which was going to be the Recon Ranger. So basically, it ended up being a little wordy, Recon Ranger and Rifleman. So Recon Ranger became Ranger. And as I was standing there with 30 1590G boxes painted, ready to be engraved, I had the sheets out, and he was like, "The Rifleman gets engraved on these." And he was taking them away, and I was like, "No, make it Ranger!" and that's where we are with that. So.
No, see, I personally won't complain about that specifically because that let me use this gag, and I've wanted to use this gag for a long time. So I finally got to throw a Power Rangers gag into a promo.
I saw that.
So I'm not going to complain about the Ranger because that worked perfectly.
Yeah. I just posted the link from when they first appeared on Reddit, so it's in chat, so you guys can check that out. It was your post to I believe it was ESIG Classifieds.
Yeah, that was the only time I think I ever posted.
Yep.
To Classifieds. I think I've made one for sale post, and that was the very first time. I maybe one more time, maybe, but that's it. That's the only time that I ever posted, and
I make those every Monday.
So I'm gonna take another second before we do questions, and because he just uploaded the album with this mod, so I'm gonna show you guys what you have a chance of winning this evening because it's fucking cool as shit.
It's freaking gorgeous.
Enter. So this is the custom Voop Life Ranger mod that you guys have a chance of winning this evening. So you might want to enter.
And here's another link, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it there, Raph, but that's your that was your submission to Vaporcraft. So your first, there's the image there. We'll put it up.
I do love that you got the crucifixions on the bottom.
Yeah. One thing.
Yeah, my driver asked me if I wanted that included, and I was like, that's if there's only one thing to include, it is that.
We love that color.
Now, see, I gotta say, because you actually did your homework. You went and watched a bunch of shows and stuff, and found out how we work.
Yeah.
So we have you at an advantage, which isn't as much fun.
Yeah.
I'll try and play dumb, which isn't that hard, to be honest. I'm trying really hard right now.
One thing I liked especially about the Ranger, at least when I first saw the pictures, was you were way ahead in the 510 game because you started making these in March. At least you mentioned that before we went live. The Fat Daddy or the Varatube 510 was not around then. Was there any particular reason why you went with the Chi-Yu 510 as opposed to other mod top caps?
The 510 has been basically like the bane of my existence for the last.
Bigger than modern, yeah.
I wasn't satisfied with the standard 510, the Fat Daddy 510 that everybody else was using. That gap was just atrocious. I couldn't do it.
I can attest to that. I love everything about this mod but that.
And so what I did is probably the first 3 or 4 Rangers I did, I used the Chi-Yu cap, and I adjusted the center pin to about what I thought was more or less going to be the standard length of most 510 posts. So I took probably about 15 different atomizers and measured them all out and adjusted them, and basically took whichever position fit flush with the most atomizers. That's what I went with. And it was Ranger number 8 messaged me and was like, dude, I love it. If you can make this 510 adjustable, it would be so much more awesome. So that started my quest, if you will, to make it adjustable, because we all know, like, for some reason there's really no standard for the length of 510 posts, which is absolutely maddening. Like, nobody who hasn't built mods or gotten really deep into it would understand how frustrating that is. That all these different manufacturers' atomizers are making posts plus minus like 1 to 2 inches or 1 to 2 millimeters from some of the shortest to some of the longest. Like, I've seen some 510s that are huge, and so
Plumes is like 4 miles long. The thing's
yeah.
The Stellaire has my Nemesis positive screw almost unscrewed all the way.
It's almost 5 millimeters.
Yeah.
Close to.
Which is nice. I don't necessarily mind having a long 510 post. It does create better connection. They fit more snug, but like one or the other, like having it everywhere in between just makes it frustrating for people building mods and devices. So so basically I was dead set on the Chiyu cap, and I obviously still use it now. I love the look of it. I think it added a little bit of elegance, to a do-it-yourself mod, And so basically, go ahead.
With the Fat Daddies and the Veritube, is there any plan on switching? Because I know they're significantly less expensive.
I actually kind of have. I use the Fat Daddies 510 center post.
Oh, nice.
So do you get your top cap straight from Mojo?
So I get two. No, I don't. I get them from H Cigar. Yeah, it just. I actually contacted Mojo about it when I first started, and it was something like he wanted $25 a cap, I think.
That's the going rate.
Yeah, it was pretty expensive.
Well, that's expensive for a top cap that you're going to rebuild the internals on anyway.
Yeah, and so to answer your question, I kind of am utilizing a bit of the Fat Daddies, and so basically with every Ranger mod, I'm actually buying 2 510s for it, because I'm using the housing of the Chiyu, and then I'm using the 510 assembly from the Fat Daddy.
All about that look, man, and they look clean. So I give you props on doing the extra work.
Yeah, that's how I started. Was basically I wanted to eventually have a box mod that falls into the category of DIY, but not look like it was DIY.
Yeah, and I feel like your stuff in particular really comes off that way. Like, your stuff really comes off with that almost that clean professional look, and I think that's something that you do different than a lot of the guys, and I gotta give props for that, because they are very nice boxes.
I appreciate that, and it's been I don't know how many revisions I've gone through with the Ranger. Like, there's got to be 50 different versions out there. And that's one thing that I learned pretty quick, is that basically it takes a lot to be satisfied as far as I go with what I make. And I wish I could have got to the point it is now a lot sooner, because now I'm looking at about 100 Rangers that I'm gonna be taking back and retrofitting to look like what we have now. Because I want every one of my boxes out there to be to look as squared away as possible. But I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for all those boxes. it was just a work in progress, if you will. I wish Fat Daddy's would have done his spring-loaded thing about 5 months ago. That would have saved me a lot of headache. That, the 510, I have 2 different variations of the adjustable screw for the 510, and both of them they're a pain in the ass to get prepped and installed. And the first variation was pretty finicky. It was pretty finicky, and it was you still had to adjust it with a screwdriver. Granted, I made sure that it was a flattened screwdriver, a flathead, but you still have to adjust it with a screwdriver. And I actually had one person, and surprisingly, it only happened with one person, but I had one person who didn't adjust it and just screwed it down until it adjusted itself down into the box, which worked out because that's about the time that I had gotten the spring-loaded setup. So I took it back, got the spring-loaded installed, and we're good to go. But gosh, the 510, I endured so much pain and torment over the 510.
I bet, man.
But I chose it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it as versatile as possible.
Of course.
Your Ranger is very versatile, though. I must say. I mean, just recently we found this picture online, and he's actually got a hookah running out of a Kraken, and guess what's powering it?
Yep.
It's a Ranger. So hey, we got all kinds, brother. So that's awesome.
White people.
Right there. That is definitely
Hashtag white people.
Definitely.
That joke was brought to you by Lamb and Rice.
That is great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you showed us something earlier, and I'm going to tie this into talking about the future. But let's talk about that fancy little PCB that you showed us earlier.
Okay, so this is something I've been working on for a while. I wish I started it sooner, as I wish I started everything sooner. But this is hopefully going to be the final upgrade to my Rangers. After this, I shouldn't be messing with it too much. So it basically is a PCB that houses basically all my components that drive the box. So it has the SOIC MOSFET. It has diode. It has the capacitors, resistors, tracing for my voltage display, for the switching, everything. Everything's included. And this took us a while. We went through a lot of prototypes and a fair amount of time, fair amount of parts. But it's gonna speed things up on my end and free me up, hopefully, to start really focusing on some other projects that I have that I'd like to see come to fruition sooner rather than later.
So are you having somebody make that overseas? Where's
it? A friend of ours is an electrical engineer. He's in Canada, so I guess it is international. But we've been working with. Yeah.
Where's he at? Where's he at?
Canada.
Oh.
Fuck Canada!
Yeah. I was waiting for it. Yeah. So we've been going back and forth, and this is finally what we got. So I actually set this bad boy up. I just got these this morning. Before that, I was testing out some larger ones that didn't quite fit.
Before people get all butt hurt, we love Canada, okay? It's just a joke.
No, everybody knows.
These guys hate Canada! Boo!
Nobody truly hates Canada. You can't hate Canada.
You can't hate Canada.
You can hate on Canada, but you can't hate Canada.
You can hate specific people in Canada.
But even that is hard. Even that's hard. Even
you can hate people in Manitoba.
For example.
So in light of the PCB, because that's going to clean up your work, I assume, and make it a lot faster, we have a couple questions, and they'll kind of all tune together. Somebody said when to expect the 26650, as well as any hints to new stuff that you're working on.
Well,
He's got something there.
Make sure you cover it.
it's nothing big, but.
Oh, did you see that blue wire? Shit.
Oh,
That's that blue wire, yo.
Dead fucking giveaway. I know what he's up to.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm working on an SX350, which I'm still. Max is gonna hate me for this, but I'm still not 100% on the SX train.
That's okay. After that last update, I wasn't too sure about it either.
Yeah, if you want, I ran this side by side with one of my OKR proto boards at 50 watts, and it performed well. The inductor was getting pretty warm.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't anything. I was kind of expecting it. Honestly, I went into it with being a little biased.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be barbecuing, but it actually handled fairly well.
Yeah.
But I'm still not 100% on board as far as whether or not if they push it to 80 watts or something like that, I'm gonna be very leery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to test it out really hard to make sure that it can sustain that kind of current, because
and I think after the whole spiel about going to 16 gauge and all that, when they went to the 50 watt, they added the please wait overheating to, I'm sure, combat some of that.
Right.
But I also think it has to do a lot with how people mount them. A lot of people are putting them smashed in right next to LiPo batteries or just something else. You have to leave the back of that inductor open so it can, some air can get to it. So, it'll be interesting to see with the 60 that's out how it performs, and I can see how they are, they're a little bit, worried about, heat with the board. And that just, I hope, people who are listening and people that you might know that are saying, oh, the 100-watt board is the same as it. No, it's not. It's not. The components were totally different, and that's part of the reason right there.
Yeah.
So.
I'm looking at SX is in my sights. I've gotten away from playing around with Raptor 20s. I'm focusing more on the OKL. That's kind of I've been really bugging Yihi about some of their boards, because I think really Yihi is for as much as I got negative things, not negative things, but unsure things, I guess I have to say about Yihi. They have a decent track record.
They do.
For sure. They have a very decent track record. What concerns me about Yihi is kind of how quickly they went from the 2022 arena to like 35, 40, 50, 60, 100. Like, they climbed that ladder quick. And when you're talking about,
that's one of the things that they are baffled by, is how much Americans love the power. And they don't understand why people would want to do 30 watts, 40 watts, but they listen to the consumer. If the consumer wants the 40 watts, they'll make it happen. And that's something that was kind of, unheard of someone to release a board at this, and with a simple software upgrade, now you're up to 40, now you're up to 50. So, and that's good and bad. They hold up release of a software upgrade just because Pibasardo, shit on them for some things. That's great that you're listening, but you also have to, what's your company gonna want? So,
well, we found that out just by hanging out and talking with people, meeting people through the show, that a lot of the international users don't vape like that, right? I mean, a lot of the people that are friends of the show, even like Damien, he vapes at like 10 watts, 12 watts.
Yeah, I feel like what Yihi did, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it kind of threw a wrench in the gears of Evolve's planned obsolescence, of 10 watts per year, because of what Yihi did and kind of just kind of splash the water of the regulated market. Like, what's the next thing? You know, that's kind of been more of a question in my mind is what is Evolve going to do next? Are they going to go to 40 watts and just kind of keep to the track? Because DNA mods are still flying like hotcakes. So,
I don't think they will yet. I think they're going to focus on the Sunocan deal for a while.
Who?
Yeah.
Personally, for anybody asking questions, I am paying attention to them. I am taking note of them. We will get to them, at least as many as we possibly can. We do have a news item that we have to cover. And Mass, do you have any tech time set up, or are you doing it from that?
Yep, but it'll just take me a second.
Sure. Do you want to start setting up while we have the
Absolutely
conversation?
Yep.
All right, Brian, go for it.
Brian, go for what?
Battery. Our missing news piece, the batteries.
Oh yeah. So that was something that I was going to mention on in our notes that I have since closed. There they are. So I saw something on Reddit a while back. This is just a couple days ago about Sony and specifically the VTC5s, which, as everybody knows, is all the rage in the 18650 market because they are not only high amp, but they've also got a reasonable amount of power in there. I'm going to post a link here that somebody mentioned right now. So this first one that we're going to talk about was the notice that somebody got from Sony. So they sent Sony an email and basically said, hey, you know, they just wanted some specs about the battery. And the response that they got back was ostensibly, the 18650 type batteries are no longer manufactured by Sony. It was never intended for individual public sale and is not eligible for any warranty and stuff. It's only specifically, supposedly, available to OEM manufacturers, makers of specific devices. And then there's a bunch of other, legalese junk that was in there. So that's something I was going to mention anyway, because obviously that's pretty big news. I've got one in my A-mods. It's a nice battery, but in talking to Mike, he had some additional information that either I can share or you can share, if you like.
Lay it on us, Mike.
Yeah, so Lumen and I, we work very closely together. We got a visit by a senior manager in international sales for Sony. I don't want to give any more information about who he was. I don't know whether it was supposed to be confidential or not. We didn't really discuss too much about it, but we had about a 2.5-hour meeting with this gentleman about Sony and the e-cig industry and what their kind of thoughts were about the industry. It was basically, for them, it was more of a fact-finding mission. They came to us to just talk batteries, talk about the e-cig industry. We showed them a bunch of different mechs. We showed them, regulated mods. I showed him my Ranger, which he thought was really cool. So I'll take that. and we asked him a couple direct questions. The first one, which everybody wants to know and seems to be the source of a lot of rumors, is whether or not they're canceling the production of VTC batteries. He said they are not canceling the production of VTC batteries, and in fact, they are upping production of VTC batteries.
So quit hoarding them.
So what happened? It's a twofold, and this is what he explained to us further. Is that there are two things. One of their major battery facilities, manufacturing facilities in Japan, was affected by that. Fukushima, right?
The radiation, yeah, the power plant.
And they had to shut it down. So they shut down that battery manufacturing facility and transitioned to a new one in the Philippines, which basically cut the production right off the bat. It cut their production to zero, and then it got up to 25%, 50%. And he said they're still working on equalizing the production at their new facility as what they were at the old facility. So that was a huge, obviously, a supply issue on their end, a manufacturing issue that affected supply, and they also have customers that they regularly sell batteries to, and so there's that. So it's basically, there's our supply issue is due to manufacturing issue on their end. But he assured us that they're pushing to build or to manufacture more VTC batteries. And he said that those, as far as the VTC batteries are concerned, from Sony's standpoint of just general battery manufacturing, the VTC5 is one of their staples. So they have entire facilities that are tuned and built and populated specifically for that single cell, or rather those groups of cells, so the VTCs. Sure. So it's not like something they're going to be like, okay, we're just going to stop doing it. There is a massive market for it, and the market is just getting bigger. So there's that. There's that, and then also a lot of people believe, and even I believe for the longest time, that Sony not only didn't like the e-cig industry, but more that they hated the e-cig industry. Because everything I read, I assumed that if when we had Sony coming over here, I was like, man, should I arm myself just in case they're going to try and take us out? Like this is weird. This is totally out of the blue. I was kind of expecting like a ninja to jump through the window and pop, 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 done. And then I wouldn't be here. Luckily, it was a white dude, white people.
Luckily, it was a bunch of white people.
So they
hashtag white people.
Hashtag white people. He was curious. He was curious about the e-cig industry. We spoke, like I said, for about 2.5 hours, and I really had the opportunity to talk about the industry, the small business, the health benefits, the entire market that's growing out of e-cigs, and he was very receptive and in agreement, and he showed some drawings of some batteries that they're kind of playing around with. The concept of building some batteries specifically for e-cigs. Everything he said, don't take this as Sony's going to start building stuff tomorrow. Everything, this is all theoretical, if you will. Yeah. But the fact that they came and opened a dialogue with the intent of discussing their batteries in relation to the e-cig market, I think that's a very good sign.
Sure.
Much better than my previous thought was that Sony hated us and wanted us all to stop using it.
I wonder if some of that also has to do with them seeing Tesla talking with Pani over here about building this huge factory for 18650s, even though those are going to be used in the car, adaptation. But I wonder if they're like, holy shit, this is actually something big happening. So, but and that is interesting that at least they're acknowledging the market.
I don't know if you can see Mass, but
Mike lost audio again.
Refresh again.
Oh, did he?
That's fine.
He didn't want to hear what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm done listening to Mass.
That about covers that. Do we want to jump into tech time while he's jumping back in?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And
I do want to talk one more thing about the Sony thing before we go too far away. And when he comes back,
he's back.
He's back.
Try speaking.
I said before you so rudely left. I said it's kind of interesting that they're acknowledging the community now, because I wonder if some of that has to do with Tesla talking with Panasonic about their huge warehouses they're supposed to be, or manufacturing facility they're supposed to be building here for those 18650s. And I mean, I know that's in a car application, but the battery is still the battery,
Right.
And it's kind of neat for them to be finally sane, because you hear this all the time from vendors. For example, the people who sell the Kojendo cotton, a beauty supply, or the people who sell the rayon, or anything like that. All of a sudden, 100, 200 people start buying this shit, boxes and boxes of it, and they're like, what's going on? And some people have actually, sent out notices saying, hey, we really don't condone you using this for vaping, but okay. So that is kind of cool that they're at least acknowledging that, the batteries are being used for that.
Yeah, so. And we also took the opportunity to we handed over some of the fake Sony cells that we received. Yeah. And he was kind of blown away by the fact that we received them, not from Amazon or from eBay. Like, we received these high up in the supply chain.
Yeah.
And so we kind of also used that to try and draw a picture for him that there are people out there, essentially stealing their name, trying to pass off cells and create unsafe situations. And we kind of used that to be kind of like, if you were part of the industry, you could have an effect on that by creating supply, hopefully reducing the demand for these clone fake batteries,
right?
And they can kind of be part of the process and solution as opposed to the problem.
Sure. That's something that I was going to ask you about anyway. So that was another link about the same topic that I was going to post. I'll put it there in chat right now about how Illumination Supply was given a bunch of clone inauthentic batteries, and they came out, and props to them, they came out and released it publicly saying, hey, this happened, we recognize it happened, whatever, but you want to, and we're running a little short on time, but do you want to tell us a little bit of, like you were telling us earlier, about how you found them or how they found them?
Yeah, so basically, we got them, and they, they looked a little different, but, it's not all batteries come in looking 100% identical. With Sony's, Sony's have always basically always looked the same. So we got them. We split one open. It was stamped. We put it on the. We tested them out. We did the comparison. They came in a little, just like barely. You guys saw the graphs. It was barely under. It was like 100 milliamp under in capacity, and the voltage dropped a little bit sooner as far as the underload voltage goes, and which is not uncommon from cells that have been at the standby voltage levels, 3.7, 3.6 volts. It's not uncommon for those to kind of underperform for the first 1 or 2 cycles, and so. We got them, we saw them, we checked them, and they seemed to underperform a little bit, but it wasn't, anything that was startlingly obvious. And so it was basically the end of the day. We got a couple out, and then we started talking about it that evening, and then we started doing some testing, and we took some authentic VTC5s that we knew were authentic, and then rechecked those again, because there's certain variables when you're testing batteries that have an effect. If it's really cold, if it's really hot, ambient temperature, and so we didn't remember what those conditions were when we're for the batteries that we were comparing of the graphs. So we basically checked everything, and then we checked 25Rs, we checked VTC4s, and we noticed every single one we did, the fake Sony batteries were basically just overlaid over the 25Rs, and we're like, okay, that's a little interesting. So then we took the 25R, we split it open, and we started comparing the bare cells of the 25Rs to the VTC5s we just got, and started noticing a lot of characteristic similarities. At which point we're like, okay, it's obvious now. It's obvious looking at the data, looking at the casings. And then we initiated the recall, pulled everything back. We tested a few more cells, and now we're just, Lumen is trying to recoup their money from it. And yeah, it was wherever these came from. They put a lot of effort into making these look authentic because it was damn close.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, hopefully they're not listening to us right now. If they use wrappers that were more translucent, like the original Sony's had, I don't know how long it would take before anybody caught it. Because that was the one thing that kept like jumping out was like the freaking wrapper was so much darker.
Yeah.
But you split open the wrapping and.
Dude, what's funny is Chuff had gotten some in, and when I was at his shop, he showed me the two. And he said, you know, with the 14 VTC5s that he had, because he got them from Illumination Supply, he said his first thought was not that the ones that he got were fake, but that all 14 of the other ones were fake.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as how you tested them hand in hand, so which one performed better?
Definitely the authentics. But you know, that being said, the 25Rs, they're a great sell. But the problem with these is that there's a few other people that we've heard of who have gotten these same fake batteries outside of our supply chain, but they got them from their suppliers, and some of them weren't 25Rs. We have all the boxes still back up, but I was even wondering if maybe they rewrapped 100 25Rs and stuck them all on top, thinking that we were going to open it up, take the tops off, you know, test those ones out, call it good, and then dump them on the masses. So I wonder if down inside there we got some ultra fires. Yeah, it's the fact that it came from such high in the supply chain that that whoever cloned these or faked these batteries did such a very detailed job. You know, like I said, down to the bare cell, there's printing on the bare cell that they removed the printing from the original and then reprinted the VTC5s on there.
You wouldn't think that would be cost effective.
I know, right? That's what I was wondering too. Like I was like, that's labor intensive, you know. So it's wild. It's wild that they did that, and that it happened so high. Like one of the suppliers, because we got 2 batches from 2 different suppliers that are both the same fakes. That's how high it goes up. Like it goes high. And one of them they were freaking out when we told them. They were freaking out hard. So I'm interested to see what Sony says about it, because we handed over some to Sony, and he said he's gonna strip them back and have them analyzed. So
nice. So I don't want to catch up on this one, but we need to get to our crucifixions of the evening.
Yeah.
Form of tech time.
All right.
Oh, right. Okay. I was like, who are we?
Yeah. We got something good. Okay. So we'll try to keep this short. I'd say about 3 or 4 days ago, I had a local guy, a friend of mine, say, "Hey, I got this box mod. It's a dual 26650 mod, and it's broke. I've only had it for 3 weeks. Can you help me with it?" I said, "Sure, man." You know, he's like, "You know, I'll pay you. Switch out the 510, whatever. You know, you can do it." Okay. So I get the box mod, and this is what I'm presented with. It's a Hammond box. It's a plastic version. Okay. Screws. I took the screws out, so we don't have to be doing that on the air. Fat Daddy 510, and you know, flat-looking, you know, dome button. But the box is a quote-unquote electromech, so it's mechanical, or we should say full mechanical, because you know, it has no electronics in it except for the switch. So I say, all right, you know, let me look at this thing. Let's see what's going on with it. So let's pop the top open here. Okay, so here are the internals of this box. Okay, let me just say, this is shit.
It looks like a toilet paper holder.
So I'm like, okay, well, he needs this thing fixed. Let me see if I can fix it. I'm messing with this thick ass gauge wire into the Fat Daddy, trying to fix this. And then I start looking at it and I say, this thing has danger written all over it. This should be painted red and say bomb on it. And here's why. First of all, he had to go and grab these grommets, okay, and put them in here because the negative post for the battery for the 26650s kept getting squished down. When that happened, it's not springy. Okay, this thick of wire is just not springy enough, and basically it would just push down, and the batteries would rattle in there because that's what you want, battery rattle. Second of all, there's your positive end connections, okay? And if you look at a 26650 battery, you only need that much area there to make a positive connection. Anything wider can cause issues. And I said, well, okay, so I'll fix the 510. I did that, and then I thought, man, I can't give this box back to him, not telling him that this thing is dangerous. And I noticed that when I went to put in my battery, okay, we'll put it in here, and I hope this doesn't happen, but I put my battery in there, and look at where that pin is pushing on. Right there, which is the positive end, starts pushing on top of the 26650. Okay, so by putting this in and out a couple times, what can happen?
Goodbye, wrapper.
The wrapper will start, and I've only put this battery in there twice, okay? And the wrapper already, and I'm sorry, my hands, I had a fight with the pen, and the pen won. But the wrapper starts peeling off just by putting the batteries in and out of that, okay? I even tried pushing this down to get the 26650 down lower. Bad all around. Okay, next thing I say, hey, did you talk to the guy about his switch? He says, yeah, I asked him about the switch. He says this is a 60 amp switch. I said, wow, 60 amp switch. You have dual 26650s, okay, and you're running, low ohm stuff on here. This switch is definitely not a 60 amp switch, at least 60 amps DC. Okay, so I did a little searching, and I found the actual switch that they were using, and let me pull up my screen share here, and here is the actual switch that they're using. Okay, there it is. The head looks a little bit different. Okay, well, look at here. It's a 10 amp, 125 volt AC, 5 amp, 250 volt AC, and then you come down here, and it's a 4 amp. So what the hell is it? Okay, and as you can see a lot of these switches are only rated for 3 to 4 amps. Okay, so I informed my friend that I wasn't going to be able to give this box back to him fixed. First of all, I didn't charge him anything. Second of all, I said don't use it, and they paid close to $90 for this. Okay, a box now is just going to sit there, and he says, well, can you do anything about it? And I said no, because if you go, easiest way to explain this to people is if you go online and look for even a 30 amp switch, there is nothing that's going to look as pretty as that, okay, as nice fitting as that. These switches are huge, and you can do this right now. You can go look for 30 amp push button switch, and they're going to be huge switches that can take the load for a device like this, okay, at least 30 amps, because you can easily do 30 amps on those batteries, no problem, okay, and that'll just prove to you that there's nothing out there right now, even a 20 amp, okay, even some 10 amps, that they're just not rated for it. Now, number one misconception is somebody sees something like this and they see that it's rated for 60 amps. Well, that could be 60 amps AC. 60 amps DC is a whole another ball game. Okay, so that's very important when you're looking at these box mods. Please note that it will not look like this when you have a switch in there. If they're telling you that it's even a 20 amp switch, it's very rare. Do your research, go online, search for 20 amp push button switches that are rated for DC. Okay, and this is an unregulated mod, so it's not like you can say something like with the OKR, where I'm using a 5 amp switch and the internals only reach 4 amps, so we're perfectly good. Even if we went over to 10 amps, no. these switches are just not meant for something like this unregulated. Okay.
Hey, Mast, it's hard to tell from the camera. R Plus is just asking if the 510's positive is going straight to ground. It kind of looks like it from here.
Nope, it's not. It's actually.
Is it joined or something? Oh, I see.
It's actually a wire, and it goes to the back of the switch.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Now the problem with this too is this gauge wire. You start having issues when you're putting it into a 510 like this. And when they came in, the problem with them was they had melted their Delrin insulator. And this is nothing against Fat Daddy or Veritube or anybody else who has a 510 like this. The problem with that is that you're putting a 510 in a plastic box, okay, and that has no heat dissipation whatsoever. So this 510 is getting as hot as your Addy's getting, and it can't release any of that heat. I'm not saying that it's bad to build in plastic boxes, but when you build something unregulated like this that can have the potential to run low ohm builds that are going to get hot, it's not a good idea to have a plastic box. I've always, told people, if you can, please go aluminum, go stainless, do something else other than plastic, even wood, okay? Other than plastic, because like I was telling him, my buddy, you put the batteries in here, you hit it a couple times, you leave it in your car, and you don't pay attention that this wrapper has started wearing off, and now this thing is straight up arcing in your car. Now the battery might be safe and vent safely in this box. First of all, it's got screws in it, so that's another problem. If you need to get your batteries out of there quick, good luck. But now what I'm worried about is this gets hot, it melts, it catches something else on fire. Now you really have a problem, because now you've not only lost an $80 mod, you've lost whatever else you have around it. So,
given that it's plastic, I wonder how long it would take for battery acid to melt right through that damn box.
Well, I mean, just the heat, dude. I mean, the heat would melt through that, no problem. So I started doing a little research, because I knew that this wasn't an isolated incident, and what I found was very, very disturbing. And I've edited the pictures because I did not want to badmouth another company or anything like that. You guys will be able to know who they are. But here's an image of a box mod, and it is edited. I copied one of the batteries and pasted it over. This is a box that they sell for over $180. Okay, and let me point out down at the bottom and the top where the contacts are, that is balsa wood. Okay, so this guy has balsa wood for placement of the contacts, and what he does is he runs a piece of copper underneath there and above, and that's it, balsa wood. The top is full of hot glue, okay, and this is a straight up plastic box that is sold, okay, all the time. I mean, I've seen them all the time. This was actually a post to Reddit, and there was a discussion about, can someone post to our PV commission and find out about this, because they were stating that their switch was a switch that was tested down to a 0.04 ohm coil, and that their users had tested it down to 0.01, 0.02, which is insane with dual 26650s to be pulling that. I don't even know what the amperage rating is at. Somebody can do the calculations real quick. I don't even have it open, but that is an immense amount of power in a plastic box with wood contacts, which is a flammable material. It just has bad written all over it, and they sell like hotcakes.
Especially balsa, man. Balsa's very fucking flammable.
Yeah, and they sell like you would not believe, and I don't understand it. They also have a version that has an aluminum enclosure, which doesn't necessarily make it any better. Okay, so you've gone away from the plastic into that, but you're still using those wood contacts, and you're still using just a switch that is just not there. So I did a little digging, and I found the thread where just precisely 2-3 weeks ago somebody posted to PV Commission, and they asked about it, and the person actually wrote an email to the maker, and they said, oh yeah, our switches are good to 10 amps, but have been tested to 0.04 and 0.01 and all this other stuff. It sounds like a bunch of cover-your-ass bullshit to me, and I wouldn't trust them, because even at 10 amps, that is very low for a switch. So I dug around, and this is what their switch looks like. This is exactly what their switch looks like. If you see the pictures and know where I'm talking about, you'll see, and as you can tell right there, that comes up as a 3 amp switch, which is something that somebody alluded to in the comment section of one of the threads. So do your research. Make sure that you're not getting a mod that's going to hurt you, hurt somebody else. This switch, what will happen over time, and they explained it on there, is you'll start getting arcing in between the switch contacts. And over time, as you use it, it might not get hot, because this is what one of the persons was saying. Oh, well, it doesn't get hot. It's fine. Well, what will happen is that you'll go use it once, and then it'll get stuck on. And once it's stuck on, the only way that you can get this to stop is either pop the batteries out or pull your atomizer off, which is probably going to be hot as hell. So, you're going to have all kinds of problems. So, just like I said, keep an eye out for stuff like this. These mechanical boxes are just not there. The switches that are available right now are big, honking, ugly switches that go on tractors or, large equipment that is meant to handle the amperage. And again, I'm not talking about a regulated device. I'm talking about, somebody asked about using a MOSFET. That would be perfectly fine as long as a MOSFET is rated to be able to take that power, but it's not a mech mod anymore. See, and that's the biggest draw to this, is they're like, oh, look at the drop. There's almost no drop. That's what they go after on these boxes. And once you start adding a MOSFET and you start adding some of those things, you are going to have a bit of voltage issues, or drop, as they would want to call. So that's the end of my crucifixions. And Raph, if you want to jump in and let me know what you think about this, because I think this is just total garbage. I don't think people should be using these things.
So TLDR, it's good to drop the base, but not the bolts.
Yeah, pretty much. Or the plastic, or the dough on any of this shit either.
Yeah.
That was a good crucifixion. It makes me very happy that So Crucifixions is on the mod we're giving away tonight.
Yeah.
For the record, it's not one of those.
No, absolutely not.
As
something with actual. And if you guys got any questions or anything like that, let me know. I can point you to the company who's selling the other ones. I mean, these are out there by everyone. You see videos on YouTube, and everything you see is, oh man, this box hits like a insert truck, train, plane, rocket, fucking whatever you want, RPG. Okay, and that's the type of response that you get from people. They don't care what the box looks like on the inside. They just want to put batteries in it and watch it hit. Well, it might hit you one of these days when something bad happens. So, crucifixions, keep an eye out for shitty box mods.
So, on the note of those crucifixions, shall we move to our giveaway entries?
Yes,
because we have some really good ones. In standard fare, I hope that these all went to Facebook, Reddit, or somewhere where I have track of you, not just chat, because all of these are the raw images. I don't know who the fuck made them. So I'll find that later when we pick a winner. But so here we go. First one we have, very clearly, no smoking, vaping good.
Vaping rainbows. Or pooping
Vaping
rainbows.
is rainbows, smoking stinks.
Yes.
I think my son drew that.
This one right here? I really, really fucking like this one, man. This one's so this captures the essence of the entire show.
That is awesome.
So well.
I'm looking real Bollywood in that.
You're very, deal with it.
With the hair.
Hey, Sean, put yours on focus. It's flipping to everybody else when we talk.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm on focus. You see something different than I see.
Oh, all right.
Don't worry.
He's high above, man. He sees all.
Yeah.
Notice
Not clearly see the toilet up there. I mean, I am clearly like about to take a look at either Foob or Matt.
Angsty's got especially feminine legs.
I do. I've got gorgeous horse legs somehow. But what I was talking to him earlier in chat. I was like, while my legs look a little silly, he said I was the last one to be on there, and he was running short of time, so he had to just finish it. But I am apparently panted. Like I don't have my pants around my ankles, and the lid's closed, which happens all the time. I mean, I go vooping when I'm in public or I'm at a client's office or whatever. I don't go in there to actually poop. I just go in there to vape, and so I don't have to go outside.
So, I mean, it's fitting, and that's something that we've never shared, and he got it. So, on to the next one.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Nice.
Shit brown color in the background.
That is pretty cool.
The outlining work is just fucking...
Yeah, that's
great.
amazing.
Great.
I wonder who that came from.
That is
Isn't
great.
that like Febreze or some shit, right?
That either came from Jay or Rihanna.
No, but Jay's is really good. Jay's is in here somewhere.
Nice.
Look at that rose right there.
Like the Turd Burglars, yeah.
Nice.
Sean, go back to the last one. You look like a broke-ass Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, that is great.
We got this one. Look at fucking Angsty's arms.
I love my arms in Texas, bitch.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a snake coming off the back of the horse.
I didn't get that either.
Is that supposed to be my flannel on that shirt?
I'm not
I look
sure.
kind of like a goat.
You got kind of a badonk there too.
Am I making tacos?
I do.
I think you're soldering tacos.
Oh, okay.
How do you think the cheese gets so melty?
Mm-hmm.
I think that captures the essence of Voop.
I did that. I think that's what I saw on my screen before Mass switched.
I stopped the broadcast and it stopped on that. Give me a fucking
Yeah,
break.
as soon as I hit print screen, then it switched to your next camera.
I can't wait for all the dicks to be inserted into my mouth.
I think that captures the essence of constipated Voop life.
Yeah.
Oh!
We got this one here.
High-end.
Some of these are really fucking.
Why are these so small and narrow? It seems like the screen's really small.
The screen is a little bit small. Let's
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
I'm a little lost on that one, but I see Damien over here,
Yeah.
and I see
Is that
Mike Duff.
That's
Is that
me.
is that a glory hole?
Sounds better.
Yeah, it's
That
totally
is
glory
glory hole vaping.
That's awesome.
I love the non-sponsored, non-influential. I think we know who did that one.
It's true.
Nice.
I like my American flag and guns. It's always...
I'm trying to figure out why the horse has a bong.
And your brolic ass arms.
Shart life.
Resting Coder just posted his. I like this one too. This is a nice story.
It is. It is.
There are a lot of good ones.
Wow.
Mike, you want to give away like 3 Rangers? Don't you?
That's pretty awesome.
I forgot my juice.
Vooping good, marriage bad.
Can we still hear him?
Can you talk, Mike?
Can I?
Oh, okay, there he is.
All right,
Okay, good.
I'm laughing silently.
So
I
we got
don't even have to
a
name it.
in there.
Oh, that is great.
I haven't seen that one.
We got this one going on right here. There's a lot of shit going on in this.
There's a
Thing.
lot. That's exactly what I was about to say. That's a lot going
It's
on.
a little Rube Goldbridge. That's pretty cool.
There's a lot going on in that. God damn.
I love the hidden 50 watt over there in the corner.
So that's projects.
Great.
That's classic.
I like Vaporia on that one.
I am so cool.
That one's pretty big.
Oh, that's a bird. I thought that was like a MiG or something.
It looks like a purple MiG.
Yeah, it's Prince's mid.
Prince's MiG. There you go.
In the style of tonight's episode, right there.
Nice.
Nice. Whoa.
I don't really know what's going on in this.
Voop life. A laptop. Some sort of vape.
Looks like he's sitting on a toilet with his laptop.
Yeah.
But he's also, his toilet's on the wall. I don't see the seatbelt to hold him in. That one's very graphic.
Oh, the goatsy one. Oh,
That dude also has very small balls.
very ridiculously small balls.
Are those balls, or is that like a chicken head, or like a little...
And the last one.
Nice.
Now, we have a lot of really good entries, but I have to go for this one because that's just fucking amazing.
That's to me, it's Nick's, and what was it? The story one. The story one where he forgot his
After
juice.
this, Sean's getting his bathroom remodeled.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's find our story one here. Right there.
Yeah, that one. Chronicles of Vaping.
Closing out the ones that are not up there yet. That one's funny.
Yeah. Definitely not gonna give it to the goatsy one.
I think that.
I would love to.
But so we're between that one, this one.
Those are my three favorite. Do we have any input from Mike?
I'm gonna have to go with the toilet stall scene one. I think that's a good boot life.
So
We're talking
good.
boot life.
Like, straight up, I think...
There's so much attention to detail in that. The not a chuff is there.
Is it done with MS Paint though, or equivalent?
I talked to him prior, and he said, yeah, he went through pixel by pixel. It took him hours.
Like, it's so good, I want to make a T-shirt out of it. Right now.
It's good to a point that, man, do I fuck it, like... That's clearly the most work.
I think this guy may have had an unfair advantage and had actual artistic skill.
we can't kill somebody for having actual skill.
And the outlines of the hats and hair and beards on that one is great.
It is, and I bet you that was a bitch to do, but they.
I like how I got like an afro.
Yeah.
But I still have to go with it.
I did point out that Sean's the only one with eyebrows in that one, which I thought was funny.
Well, I am. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I have the biggest eyebrows, yet I don't have any.
Resting Coder's my vote.
Yeah, mine too.
Thirded.
Fourth of it.
All right, Resting Coder is the winner.
Oh,
Yay. I don't even have effects up to freaking applaud. I'm sorry.
Well, hurry up.
Boo.
Hold on, we'll try this again. Resting Coder is our winner. There we go.
Straight up, when I saw that earlier in the week, I'm like, oh shit, I'm pretty sure this is win.
My first thought was that there was no way in hell that was actually MS Paint.
Yeah.
And when I sat down and chatted with him earlier today when he was in chat, he told me the process of going through the thing, and it's fucking brilliant. I will honestly say that he deserves it.
Agreed.
So there we go. I'm waiting for chat to catch up because it's going to here in a second. Oh, there come the congrats.
Yeah, good.
So, Wrestling Coder, get a hold of us, email, Facebook, here in chat, send one of us a PM, whatever the case may be. We'll need your information. We'll shoot it to Mike. Mike will send you the box, which is amazingly already done, which is awesome. Usually there's a wait time, but, Mike's got the box, like, right there.
Right there, and just gorgeous. Mike, thanks a lot, dude. That thing really did turn out well. The only thing that I wish is if it was coming to me,
Me too.
But we can
But
give
you know what? I changed my mind. I think I'm gonna keep it. It's really nice. It'd be a shame to give it away.
Wait,
Like,
can we
am I crazy?
Oh, so you didn't show these guys the button. Show the button now that somebody won.
I mean, could we consummate the mod before it goes to resting?
Oh,
Easy light up button. Look at that.
My brother had a Jeep that was that color. It was awesome. Very cool.
That is sweet.
So we got a couple last-minute questions, and we're way the fuck over. So when you do boxes, and this was asked by our winner actually, when you do custom orders for boxes, can a user supply you with a hex code / image of the color to get a color that's close?
Yes. Yes. When people ask for a specific color, honestly, like what I typically do is I'll link them to one of the powder coat companies, powder coat suppliers that I use, and I'll just send. I'm like, you go find it yourself. I ain't got fucking time for that shit.
Awesome.
But the reason I do that is A, so they can see the colors, because honestly, like, I had no clue how many freaking colors there were until I started powder coating myself. Like, honestly, I thought I was restricted to like 15 different colors. There are literally thousands of colors. Like,
Powder by the pound.
I could have 1,000 people order a different color and order 1,000 different. Don't do that, please. Don't. That's a lot of work.
Typhoon Scotland, in the spirit of fun, wants to know, given your concerns with the SX and moving into SXs, would you ever think of putting a fan in your Ranger to keep it cool if you switch to that board?
Yeah, you gotta pack it with.
Here, wait, I have it. Stand by.
While we're standing by.
Nope.
No.
Did it once, not again.
This fan.
Yeah,
Nice.
it is.
Perfect.
It's a 2.5 amp, 12 volt. I pulled it out of an F-16 fighter jet. No, this thing literally, like, we turned it on, and I actually hid behind the door. Like, seriously. I was afraid something was going to break off and fly and kill me, like Final Destination style. So it didn't, obviously. So now I keep it as a trophy.
By the way, Resting Coder, I want pictures when you get it, because I want to see them.
On the topic of heat, though, I do use heat transferring compound nearby the MOSFETs and the OKR to kind of help dissipate a little bit of the heat. Because I've taken all the all my different builds, different stages, and basically pushed them well beyond what they should be. Obviously, these are test boxes that don't go out to people who order. But I get to I haven't blown up an OKR yet. I haven't fried one yet, which is surprising. And yeah, basically, in most cases, the MOSFET tends to get a little warm when you start pushing 15 or so amps. They start to get a little warm, and then sometimes the inductor shield on the OKR. I actually noticed oddly enough, the Raptor doesn't get as hot as the OKR.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I always consider the OKR to be a better build, just because it you look at them side by side, and the OKR, it looks to be better built.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use heat transferring compound. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but may as well.
Nice, man. So 2 more questions. I'm going to ask one. We have a few notes, and then we'll close with the last one. How do people get a hold of you? Email, contact info. People want mods. Not everybody's on Reddit. How do they get a hold of you?
Everybody needs to be on Reddit. Reddit is my main venue, without a doubt. I do have an Instagram, Raffmods, RAFFMODS, and email. So in both my Reddit subreddit and my Instagram, I have my email address. I have a link to my order form, and then you can obviously ask me questions. When it comes to Instagram, I'm not super active on Instagram. Like I'll post stuff. On occasion, my wife posts stuff. Instagram's more of my wife's territory. She kind of she kind of does that. Reddit's my domain. But
what's the email?
It's grunt226 at Gmail.
There
So
we
it's
go.
GRUNT226.
Nice.
Pics sent.
Two quick notes for you guys. One, and we're gonna have some polls up for this and a thread up for this. So football season coming. We talked about possibly changing the day of the show. Do you think we should? And what day should we make it? Same time, whatever the case may be. But we're gonna set something up. Let us know. We want to hear back from all of you guys as far as what day you want the show to be. And two, in the future, who would you like to see on the show? Do you know somebody that you think should come on? Is there anybody in particular that you'd love us to reach out to? You know, we really wanted to start taking some submissions as far as our guests go, rather than just hunting down people. So, let us know who we should have on to talk to.
My initial idea, let me know if you're, obviously we should have a vote, but the first day that came to mind with the show, too, was Wednesday night.
And I think Wednesday night's impossible.
Why?
Thanks, he's busy Wednesday night.
Me.
So that's why I figure we run a vote, we see what people say, and then
Everybody vote for Wednesday.
So the last question that I have for you, Mike, before I close, and you're on a total time crunch on this, but I apologize. But for someone looking to make their own mod, what one piece of advice would you give them?
I don't think there's any one piece of advice.
What's the most important piece?
Oh, there's so many. Like,
this is why it's crunch time.
Oh, it's gotta be okay. How about this? I'm gonna tell you if there's one thing that I can change about the way I started. How about that?
Sure.
Yep.
Gosh. You got an hour?
Another hour.
About 2 minutes.
Yeah, research, knowledge, ask questions, and the modding community is amazing. On Reddit, I'm not sure about other groups and stuff, but the modding community on Reddit is very close knit, very active, willing to help. Bounce ideas, and they'll call you out on BS if you try and do something stupid. Chances are somebody will call you out on it before you get a chance to screw something up. But yeah, like really just see what's available. Don't settle for what has been done. Kind of play around with it. You don't have to go completely off the grid and create your own DC buck converter out of scratch, but see what's available.
Now there's 2 points that the chat has come up with. The first, Stan the Man says balsa wood is one thing that would help, and Matty JJ said measure once, cut twice. That's what he was.
Yeah. Yep. Measure once, cut twice. That's I prefer measure once and cut 3 times, or measure nunts and cut once. That's less work. The measuring part, that's just too much work. So measure nunts, cut once.
Drill all your holes in the dark.
So I want to thank everybody too. Mike, big thanks to you. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this super long 2-hour show.
Right.
We had a lot of shit to talk about. Thanks everybody for staying. I very much appreciate it, Mike. I very much appreciate you coming in and talking to us.
Most certainly.
Do you have any last things that you want to say real quick?
Don't say that. We're 2 hours in.
Yeah, I talk. Yeah, like I just want to thank everybody, the community, both customers, supporters, modders, people like you guys who put it out there, get it out there, especially with you guys. Like, I don't want to kiss your guys' ass or anything, but the fact that you guys spend time, no ads, like that's impressive that you guys actually care about it. And that's one thing that I love about this community is that I found so many people who genuinely care about vaping, as opposed to the potential and the business and the what's in it for them. Like, it truly is remarkable. It's and I've said this a number of times on various Reddit threads, is that not only has vaping, I believe, saved my life, but it's also in regard to humanity, it's kind of given me new hope for mankind. You know, like the pure generosity and support that I've seen within vapers in the community has been a complete 180 from what internet forums have been for the last 5 or 10 years. I'm a member of many forums, and basically, if you ask any question that isn't the perfect question in the world, you're gonna get shit on.
Oh yeah. Somebody said you're in trouble too. You forgot to thank your wife.
Yeah.
This is Raps said, thank your wife. Your wife.
Yeah, she endures a lot.
Now shut up.
That was a message from Chuff.
But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching.
Absolutely.
Coming on.
Thanks, everybody.
Adios.
Peace out.